Hello, everyone. Jonathan Bear here, acting as Mercury's messenger, and this is the show Random Stuff. So, recently I received a bump from the page of Marishima 2012. So, I got a bunch of new subscribers. Hello, thanks for subscribing. Welcome. Today's episode is kind of going out to you guys, since Marishima, he's not an astrologer. Uh, I'm thrilled that he's touching into this subject because I've been watching him for years. When I started watching him, he was strictly calling Saturn Satan, and so I've seen him his openness to astrology grow and whatnot. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, and I'm talking about the 13th sign, Ophiuchus. I probably pronounced that wrong, so I'm just going to stick to referring as the 13th sign. A couple other things I wanted to talk about in this video. Wheat plants are happy plants, another page I'm subscribed to. They recently did a video on Terence McKenna talking about astrology. I'm going to put a link to that. Terence McKenna, a brilliant man, basically talks about how astrology is a science. Another thing I wanted to just kind of quickly bring up here is the double slit experiment for quantum physics, where the observer affects the observation. I'll post a link as well in the comments section for the double slit experiment. I wanted to compare that to the idea in the song "The Stars Are Projectors" by Modest Mouse. Right? The stars, constellations, are made up of stars, and these planets passing in front of the constellations can work as that double slit experiment. I just kind of wanted to put that out there. Okay, let's talk about this 13th sign right now. NASA, they keep bringing this up. Why? Why is NASA bringing this up? First of all, NASA isn't even looking at how astrology works before they're trying to discredit it. So they're the ones that end up looking like the idiots. They're scientists. Do some research. You should know better. Okay, they're looking at it from astronomy, which is Earth's perspective, but astrology works from the path of the sun and the ecliptic. So I'll explain what that means here as I describe the 13th sign. Okay, so there are actually 88 constellations that make up the celestial sphere. Now 88, that's well over 13. So I'm not saying that there isn't a 13th, because there's 88 in fact. Now the zodiac, however, is made up of 12 of these 88. And these 12 are all along the ecliptic. What is an ecliptic? The ecliptic is the imaginary line in which our sun travels around the solar system in a year. So the ecliptic passes through the 12 zodiac signs. Now, the 13th sign is a very massive constellation. And the feet of this constellation touches the ecliptic, but a very, very small percentage, only about 20%, which isn't very much at all. So here's a big reason why we don't include it into the zodiac wheel, right? Now, 20% is not very much, like I was saying, and most of him is well out of the zodiac wheel. So picture when you're a kid riding a bike and you do a pop a wheelie, and then you end up getting a warp in your tire. Okay, and then you try and bike, and it's not going well. You got this weird wobble, and you can't go straight. It's not comfortable. All that kind of stuff happens, right? And that's basically what this 13th sign would do to astrology. Um, there's 12 signs. It's a nice, well balanced. You got the opposing polarities. It works great with 12 signs. Like I said, it would just be like a warp in your wheel. Um, Other ways to look at this here, I'm just going to entertain the idea that it does have to do with Earth's perspective, and since the Earth's wobble has changed in the past, well, maybe 15 years, if that was the case and that's how we used astrology, then it would be applicable to those born, in that past 15 years. If you were born prior to that, you have a birth chart, and that birth chart is a picture of the universe at the time of your birth. Okay, now that doesn't change. It's like pictures of you as a baby. They didn't age with you, neither does your birth chart. So your birth chart would not pick up the 13th sign. Um, why is NASA doing this? The only thing I could think of is they're trying to keep us out of balance. And here's some other examples how they're doing it, okay? We got 13 moons a year, yet we have 12 months. Um, our day starts at midnight, and our night starts at noon. That's kind of backwards a little bit. You have daylight savings, which it's said that daylight savings, suicides increase, car accidents increase, heart attacks increase, depression, and all that stuff, right? So there's really no use for the daylight savings. It's just another way to keep us out of balance and out of sync. So yeah, I hope that basically explains why there's only 12 zodiac signs, why there's no 13th sign, so you could forget about your sign hasn't shifted. Astrology doesn't work the same way as astronomy. Go to the program Stellarium, and it'll give you completely different. The planets will be in completely different constellations from our perspective than from the ecliptic's point, which is astrology based. Yeah, okay, so there's a couple other things I kind of wanted to mention in this video as well. There's another page I'm subscribed to, We Plants Are Happy Plants. They did a video recently on Terence McKenna, brilliant genius man, talking about astrology. So that's something to that everyone should check out. He basically talks about how it's a science. Here's just an idea too that I wanted to throw out there. Okay, the double slit experiment. I'm not sure who's familiar with it, but it's a quantum physics with the observer affects the observation. I'll throw a link to that too in the comments. I just kind of wanted to compare that to the song And the Stars Are Projectors from Modest Mouse. Right? So the stars, the constellations are built of stars, and the planets pass in front of constellations. Now, giving the light a choice on which way to go around the planet. Basically, the planet's working as the slits in the slit experiment. It's just an idea I wanted to kind of throw out there. Okay, so is there anything I'm missing I wanted to talk about today? The 13th sign, Terence McKenna, that, I think I covered the bases that I wanted to cover today. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching. I hope this brought some information, even some feedback on solidifying a science behind astrology. You know, I'm just gonna name another thing here. Uh, you know, maybe I shouldn't get carried away in it because I'm starting to think of other stuff I could bring into this video too. Let's just leave it here. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye now.